There's a reason why people call Sophie Cunningham MAGA Barbie, and people are starting to fill the arenas to watch her and Caitlin Clark. She's not apologizing for saying that there should be no men in this woman's sport. It's caused an absolute crisis. People are losing their mind. Photo of Brittney Griner with a full beard after being released from a Russian prison.
The WNBA's Brittney Griner is a man.
Men should not play sports against women. I'm not going to get into all the bullshit that's going on out here in the world today. If anybody thinks that, I think they're stupid.
The WNBA held a task force meeting to address transgender eligibility, but the debate still left major questions unanswered. The league has existed for nearly 30 years, and its collective bargaining agreement says only players who are women are eligible, yet the agreement does not clearly spell out how that eligibility is determined. The recent task force meeting stopped short of announcing any new eligibility policy, keeping the controversy alive. And Benny Johnson, a conservative media personality with a large online following, publicly pressed the question that has become central to the debate. Exactly what standards should determine who is eligible to play in the WNBA?
By women decided a shirt wearing saying "for the girls" was too offensive. Meanwhile, State Farm Arena put up a pro-trans message on the big screen but won't allow the shirt the state's basic biological. What is so offensive or scary about this message? The genetic message of gender, the genetic message of biological sex. Wow, the WNBA doesn't know what a woman is. The shirts that reference the XX chromosomes are banned.
Is there a man in the WNBA? And the league that called the entire debate bad faith and a stunt had no clear answer for him. Then came Brittney Griner's name.
Brittney Griner's voice.
What you said was effing white girl. Is it possible that's what you said?
No, would never say that.
Brittney Griner called Caitlin Clark trash and effing white girl. Trash, effing white girl.
Brittney Griner, who I can't stand, sad that she's a Baylor grad.
Yeah,
she called her a trash expletive white girl. That was the lip reading. Yes, trash white.
While Brittney Griner reacted angrily to the attention, Sophie Cunningham's earlier comments suddenly looked more relevant. Benny Johnson asked, "Is there a man in the WNBA?" after the league declined to clearly define what a woman is. Simple question, direct question, the kind of question that should have a straightforward answer. Yet the WNBA task force meeting apparently could not provide one.
Could this culminate in you actually playing in the WNBA?
It better. Why wouldn't they let me play? It's completely bigoted to deny my trans existence.
And the reason that question spread so quickly across sports media is because the WNBA's own eligibility language leaves the issue unclear. The CBA says only players who are women are eligible to play, but it does not explicitly define the term woman or spell out criteria involving biological sex, hormone levels, or physical attributes.
Sophie Cunningham, otherwise known as MAGA Barbie in the WNBA, is a superstar player. She's one of the most famous female athletes in the world because she stood up for women in women's sports, saying only biological women should be allowed to play in the WNBA. And for that, she is literally risking her life. Check this out. This is what happened to Sophie Cunningham last night when she was clotheslined by a filthy, dirty player for Chicago who has a name that I can't pronounce, or maybe I just refuse to do that. That's my right as an American. But this is a player that has attacked Caitlin Clark, gouged her eye out, that has now bloodied the face of Sophie Cunningham. And as soon as she did this, she tweeted white privilege, meaning she's declaring this is a race crime. Now, if a white woman was doing this to black women, it'd be the #1 story in the world. She'd be banned from the league forever. But somehow black women are allowed to get away with this against white women. And it's white women in the league who make themselves a target by simply standing up for traditional values and common.
There is no clause that explicitly says someone qualifies simply by declaring or self-identifying as a woman. So Benny Johnson asked the question, the WNBA task force met, and the league still did not publicly provide a definitive definition of female. Calling the question bad faith or a stunt may work as a public relations response, but it does not resolve the underlying eligibility issue.
NBA, of course, doesn't want to make anything political. Here they are welcoming the Honorable Stacey Abrams. The Honorable Stacey Abrams. Well, what has she done that's honorable? What's dishonorable is that at that same game, a mother wore a XXXY Athletics for the girls with her daughter apparel. This is a brand that, of course, is defending women in women's sports, and she got kicked out of the game. And you can see there somebody a fan flipping them off, whether this is a board member, potentially. Look at this. Whether that's a board member of the WNBA, but she doesn't know what a woman is, right? Like what?
If this reaches a federal courtroom, it could become a major legal precedent with significant consequences. The league called Enes Kanter Freedom and Royce White's declarations a stunt and bad faith, yet still has not clearly explained its own eligibility standard. That is not Benny Johnson's problem. That is the WNBA's.
I'm never going to think it's all right for men to play sports against women. And I don't even think that's controversial. That's the thing that's funny. Like some of this stuff make, like when you see these debates on television, I'm like, yeah, men shouldn't play sports against women. I'm done. I don't want to hear you try to explain it to me. No, I don't want to hear it. I'm not going to argue with you. Men shouldn't play sports against women. I'm done. There's a lot of we can argue over. That ain't.
You women out there, y'all petty, man. Hey, LeBron, you're 100% right on these girls hating on Caitlyn.
Here's the context that mainstream coverage has been dancing around for weeks. Brittney Griner stands 6 feet 9 inches, making her a central figure in the public debate over the WNBA's eligibility standards and its failure to clearly define them.
We were made to cover up our XXXY shirts at this game.
Wait, are you serious?
Yes. They gave us shirts. They gave us T-shirts during overtime and told us we had to leave.
And this is for the girls.
Or cover our shirts. This just happened.
Where were you sitting?
Floor
4-3 row
C.
Yeah.
Third row of floor 3.
And how much were your seats?
$1,000 each around.
Yeah. And we did nothing. Like we were just sitting there. I didn't make signs. I wanted to make signs, but I didn't. I did nothing.
They made us put our shirts on.
I did notice during the game on the Jumbotron, they put up a woman wearing a shirt that said protect trans rights or something.
She was the one who told on because she was made to zip up her jacket.
So she also had to zip up her jacket?
But I think that's
bullshit too. She shouldn't have to.
But they put her shirt on the Jumbotron.
I know.
It's almost like the message was made and they said, now zip it up to make it seem like they're consistent.
Yeah.
But they never were.
Yeah.
No, never are.
And why did you spend so much on tickets? Why was it important for you to be here today?
To support Sophie Cunningham and to support women in women's sports because it's just common sense.
And what's the relation here?
That's my daughter.
And are you an athlete?
I used to be until I had a bunch of knee surgery.
What sport?
I did all sorts here. I did soccer. I did all that.
Yeah.
And did this issue ever come up? Like, did a biological man ever try to play against?
No, we're from here, so it hasn't happened here
a lot.
But I can't believe that just happened.
Yeah. She is the player who has been used by some WNBA critics and commentators as a symbol in the backlash against Sophie Cunningham's comments.
Woman decided to stand up for women and female spaces. And that woman is now getting lambasted by other women because she doesn't support transgender people in female spaces. Sophie Cunningham, who many of you will probably know from this video, recently got herself in hot water because she had the audacity to say that women and girls should be protected.
The player whose pre-game meme recreation with Cunningham was turned into a political statement by media outlets. And now Benny Johnson is asking the question that the WNBA's failure to clearly define what a woman is has made unavoidable.
I do think that there is a thing called pretty privilege. There is a thing called white privilege. There is a thing called tall privilege. And we have to acknowledge that. And so part of it is about race, because if you think about the Brittney Griners of the world, you know, why did she have to go to play in Russia?
They wouldn't pay her.
Because they wouldn't pay her.
Because they wouldn't pay her.
You know, but I'm rooting for Caitlyn because I've been in that seat before. I've walked that road before. I hope she kills. I hope Aaliyah Boston does amazing. And we have grown-ass men and women out here doing whatever they can to try to make sure that does not happen. That is the weirdest thing in the world, but it is what it is. And I'm glad that Caitlyn has a great head on her shoulder.
Not because of hatred or bigotry, but because a league that cannot clearly define its own eligibility terms after 30 years is going to face exactly the questions that a clear policy could have prevented.
400 plus in the world competing as a male. Transitions to female, and he was number one. If we're gonna act like transitioning from male to female doesn't involve an advantage for that trans athlete, I have nothing to say to you. You're not exercising common sense.
Cunningham said she wants to protect young girls in sports and argued that biological males should not compete against biological females.
Biological men playing the WNBA? The answer should be no. That should be the answer from everybody. Should biological people that were born men play in the WNBA? No. Full stop. Any other thing? And there is no, whoa, so are you saying transgenders don't have a right to say, man, shut the fuck up. I ain't saying nothing like that. You asked me a specific question. Do transgenders belong in the WNBA if you're born a biological man? No. Okay?
She said everyone is welcome at her table. Yet the league she plays in still cannot clearly define what a woman is. Sophie Cunningham stood by her position.
I have two little girls who play sports, who play soccer. They're young, and I see how much hard work they put into their sport. And only to have a boy or a man who they're biologically built different to come in and just play better and take your spot. Look, if you want to play in a trans league, go ahead, but not in girls' sports. Don't try to erase women and girls.
And the WNBA's task force meeting that produced no definitive public answer only added to the debate. The WNBA denounced what it called a bad faith transgender debate and maintained that the league has no eligibility issues.
Thing the president feels strongly about as well, and the American people do too, that men should not be playing in women's sports. It's completely ludicrous that anyone could support that. It's even more ludicrous that you do have Sophie Cunningham, a female athlete herself, very accomplished in her own right, coming forth and speaking that truth that men shouldn't play in women's.
No eligibility issues. That is the WNBA's official position. The league says there are currently no transgender women playing or seeking to play in the WNBA.
Protect women and girls, and the backlash she is receiving from Democrats and left-wing figures across the country is astonishing. They are clearly very out of touch with the American public on this issue, which again is an 80-20 issue. It's common sense. It's rooted in basic biological fact that men should not be competing against women on playing fields across the country.
There has never been a transgender woman, someone assigned male at birth who later transitions to live as a woman, on a WNBA roster.
What we're attacking women. We're saying if you look
Megan,
like
no
this
one's
as a
attacking
woman.
women. No one's attacking women. If you were born with a dangling, we don't want you to compete with girls. That's all it is.
That is factually true, but it doesn't explain why the debate is happening. The debate is happening because the WNBA CBA does not clearly define woman, because Cheryl Reeve has publicly expressed support for trans kids, and because Gabby Williams said she would welcome a biological male onto her team.
This isn't, as you said, Tommy, a whoops. This is intentional. This was targeting Sophie Cunningham, and I don't care if the player's white or black. It does not matter. When you do this to somebody, this is horrible for the league. Obviously, this was done because Sophie Cunningham stood up for women, saying that men shouldn't play against women in sports because there is obviously a chromosome advantage, just like you see with steroids, a chemical advantage.
The debate is happening because the league cannot clearly answer Benny Johnson's question. The absence of a current transgender player does not resolve the lack of a clear definition of what a woman is. And the WNBA's claim that the debate is in bad faith does not settle the underlying issue.
Women are 51% of the population. We need to start acting like it. Boycott the WNBA. They don't know what a woman is. They don't know how to protect women in girls' sports. And the WNBA, the W that stands for woman, not trans, that starts with a T. Woman. Y'all don't know what that is? Boycott them. Our girls deserve fairness in their sports and in the locker room. And I'm just having it really up to here with the WNBA and their cowardice. And every fucking WNBA player that says, oh, I don't mind a trans on a team with me, you're fucking lying. You haven't had it. You haven't experienced having a male in the locker room with you. I have. It is fucking demeaning. It crosses our boundaries. It disregards our privacy and what we actually want as women. Fuck the WNBA and any other sports league that allows men to play with women. boycott.
If Cantor Freedom or White pursue legal action after being denied eligibility without a defined standard, the WNBA could have to explain in federal court exactly what its eligibility criteria are. And saying only women are eligible without defining woman is not a legal standard. It's simply a sentence.
Sophie Cunningham was brutally fouled in the face during today's game, and the offending player, Dejanay Carrington, was ejected after officials ruled her hit a flagrant 2. But after the ejection, Carrington posted, quote, "white privilege" on social media and tagged the Indiana Fever. The on-court drama follows weeks of backlash and protests against Cunningham for speaking out against including transgender athletes in the WNBA.
Stephen A. Smith summed it up in 3 sentences on SiriusXM. The CBA says the league is for women and that only women are eligible to play. So, as he put it, if you're a woman, you're eligible. If you're not, you're not. Simple and plain.
Flagrant 2 every single damn time in the NBA and the WNBA. But you know things have devolved when you've got the Attorney General for the state of Florida saying that's why WNBA games ain't here because guess what? We are the prosecutor. Attorney General James Uthmeyer, the WNBA knows better than to play games down here in Florida because I'll be charging people with assault. I should probably clarify assault and battery. That is from the Attorney General.
The complication is that the WNBA has never clearly defined the term. Vinnie Johnson simply asked the question that exposes that gap. Sophie Cunningham said it months earlier, telling ESPN she wanted to protect young girls in sports and locker rooms from competing against biological males. Despite the backlash, protests, and controversy surrounding her comments, Cunningham continued to stand by her position. "I said what I said."
Head coach Stephanie White, well, she didn't want biological men kicked out of women's sports, and she made that pretty clear.
I don't know that I would say that I'm educated enough from a scientific standpoint. I don't ever believe that exclusion is an answer. I just don't. I do think, when we think about various levels of sport, various governing bodies of sport and things that go into that, like I said, I'm not educated enough at the different levels. I know growing up, I played with the boys all the time.
And then the WNBA held a task force meeting to address eligibility questions, but still did not publicly provide a definitive definition of woman. Vinnie Johnson asked a question the task force could not clearly answer, while Sophie Cunningham continued to stand by her position about protecting girls in sports. Fans quickly reacted, pointing out the irony of the league calling the debate bad faith, while questions about its eligibility standards remained unresolved. Cunningham said what she said, and now the debate continues. Does women's basketball need clearer eligibility standards to protect competitive fairness? Drop your thoughts in the comments.